Okay, so let's figure out the change in y. And before we do that, I want to convert these mixed numbers to improper fractions. So we're going to take 2 and multiply by 15. That's 30. Plus 1 is 31. So it's going to be negative 31 over 2. That is what negative 15 and a half is. The next mixed number, we'll take 3 and 1/6. Let's take 6 and multiply by 3, which is 18. Plus 1 is 19. This is 19 over 6. And then the last one, we're going to take, let's see, 7 and 5/6, and convert that to an improper fraction. So we'll take 6 times 7, which is 42. 42 plus 5 is 47, so this will be 47 over 6. Okay, the next thing I would do is make sure we have common denominators. So we have 2 and we have 6. I can multiply the 2 by 3 to get 6 as my denominator, but then I have to do the same to the top. So what this is going to become is negative 93 over 6. That's the same thing as negative 31 over 6, and that's the same thing as negative 15 and a half. In fact, if you take negative 93 and divide by 6, you should get negative 15.5, which is negative 15 and a half. Okay, so now we can better, I guess it'd be easier to figure out the change in y since we have fractions that have common denominators that are, they're in proper form. So let's go from negative 93 to positive 19. And you start way out here at negative 93, and you go all the way to 0. That's adding 93. And you go from 0 all the way to 19. That's adding 19. So if we go from negative 93 all the way to 19, we're adding these two numbers added together, which is 112. This is plus 112, and then over 6. Then go from 19 to 47. If you go from 19 to 47, you are going up by 28. Okay? And that's going to be, and then over 6. Now let's try to reduce our fractions if we can. I want to try to keep common denominators. So let's make, so I think we can divide this by 2. 112 divided by 2 is 56. 6 divided by 2 is 3. And we can also divide this by 2, top and bottom. That would be 14 over 3. All right, so we have 56 over 3 and 14 over 3 as our change in y's. Now the change in x is much easier. We just go from negative 6 to positive 2. That's plus 8. Go from 2 to 4. That's plus 2. And now, remember, slope, or rate of change, it's y2 minus y1. That's the change in y. Over x2 minus x1, that's the change in x. So we have to take the change in y and divide by the change in x. So 56 over 3 divided by 8. Instead of dividing by 8, I'd rather multiply by the reciprocal, 1/8. Anytime we have a fraction and we're dividing, let's just make sure let's multiply by the reciprocal instead. So now 56 times 1 is 56. 3 times 8 is 24. And then we just reduce the fraction if we can. I believe 4 divides into 56 and 24 evenly. 56 divided by 4 is 14. 24 divided by 4 is 6. And then you can divide each of those numbers by 2, so it'd be 7 over 3. 7 over 3 should be the rate of change, but let's check. Let's check using 14 over 3 divided by 2. So take 14 over 3. Instead of dividing by 2, I'm going to multiply by 1/2. 14 times 1 is 14. 3 times 2 is 6. And that reduces down to 7 over 3 as well. 7 over 3 is our rate of change. 7 over 3 is our slope.